Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, let's jump right in. We're looking at the sources you sent us about Zia Yusuf's resignation as chairman of Reform UK. It's a pretty big deal, right? Because he was only in the job for, 11 months?
Yeah, just under a year.
So our mission today is to really unpack what these sources, the articles, the notes you shared tell us about why he left and, what it might mean for Reform UK going forward.
Definitely. And Yusuf wasn't just some figurehead. The sources make that clear. He's described as a self-made millionaire, a former big Tory donor.
Right.
And he apparently came in with a significant financial contribution too. Some reports mentioned £200,000 up front.
Wow.
And the stated aim, according to the material, was to professionalize the party, build up its infrastructure. Sources actually credit him with building much of it.
Okay, so he was brought in to build things up, but potentially broaden the appeal too, right? Wasn't he noted as a prominent ethnic minority figure?
That's mentioned, yes. Potentially helpful for the party's image.
So given all the money, the mission, the profile leaving after less than a year, it does feel, significant. What are the sources suggesting were the actual reasons? Sounds like it's complicated.
It really does. Yusuf himself basically said it wasn't a good use of his time anymore. But digging into the sources you provided, there's more.
Like what?
Well, policy clashes are mentioned. For instance, him publicly calling that proposed burqa ban dumb. That apparently caused some friction.
Okay, policy. What else?
There are hints of interpersonal issues. Some allies were quoted saying the social media abuse he faced really got to him.
That's tough.
Yeah. And interestingly, some insiders quoted in the material suggested that, any success the party was having was happening despite him, not because of him.
Yeah.
So a mix of things.
So quite a few different threads there. And reading through the materials you sent, it seems this specific resignation is being framed as part of a bigger picture, doesn't it? Something about the party itself and Nigel Farage.
Exactly. That's the recurring theme that jumps out from multiple sources. There seems to be this inherent tension. Farage is obviously incredibly effective at mobilizing support, grabbing headlines, very charismatic.
Sure, undeniably.
But the parties he leads, and this isn't just Reform, it goes back to you, they seem to consistently, according to these sources, struggle to build and keep a stable professional structure, something beyond just the personality-driven movement.
Right. So this isn't necessarily new. The sources are framing Yusuf's exit with the policy issues, the personal stuff, all of it as just the latest example.
Pretty much. It's described in the material as a recurring pattern, or part of a long list of high-profile departures and fallouts that have sort of followed Farage through UKIP, the Brexit Party, and now Reform.
And that raises a really interesting point about what Reform UK needs to actually become, a serious electoral force, doesn't it?
It does. Because the sources really highlight this challenge.
Yeah.
It's not just about attracting people with different skills, like Yusuf's business background.
It's about keeping them.
It's exactly. Keeping them on board. To be a proper election-winning machine, you need that organizational depth, that stability. And historically, Farage's projects haven't quite managed that, based on the accounts we have here.
Yeah, even small details mentioned in the sources, like those Goldman Sachs jokes about Yusuf's past. It hints at maybe an ultra clash, like corporate structure versus a more, protest-focused vibe.
That's a plausible reading based on some of the reporting, yeah.
Yeah.
A potential mismatch.
So for you, listening to this, grasping these internal dynamics, the sort of push and pull between that charismatic pull and the hard graft of building a lasting organization, that seems pretty crucial for figuring out Reform's trajectory, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. It's central to understanding their potential and their limitations.
Yeah.
And maybe building on all the material you've given us to look at, here's something to really chew on. Considering this documented pattern, this history of, let's call it internal churn linked to Farage's leadership style across different parties, can Reform UK actually break that cycle? Can it genuinely become that stable, professional, enduring political force? Or is it perhaps destined to remain primarily this very dynamic but maybe less stable vehicle for his personal brand, always sort of vulnerable to the kind of turbulence that led to Yusuf walking away?
A really important question to keep in mind as you think about where the party goes next.